A lot of young aspiring cybersecurity professionals send me questions, and most of them ask about how to become a penetration tester. And let me try to answer most of the common questions here, but before that, I'm going to say that I totally understand it. Becoming penetration tester is extremely hard. And the reason for this is sometimes what you see as the most important things when you are a penetration tester are different from what your hiring manager is going to see. And let me elaborate on this. First of all, let's say you've finished college, and let's say you have a bit of experience with hackathon, you did a couple of bug bounty projects. That doesn't really matter. Let's say you go for an interview, and you're being interviewed by the first generation or second generation penetration tester, ethical hacker, let's say. So the thing with ethical hackers is, think about the original definition of hacker. It's not about hacking stuff. It's about ultimately understanding how things work and being able to tweak those things to the way you want them to work. This is really the original definition. And if you think about it, the questions they're going to ask you are not about how to use Burp Suite or how to uncover XSS or IDOR vulnerability. They are going to ask you, tell me how web works. Tell me how operating system works. Tell me how network works. And if you're not prepared answering those questions, you might be out of luck. Now, depending what is your college program, you may be lucky or you may not be lucky, and you may know some of those things. But my recommendation, before you go for your interview, make sure you do enough research and make sure you understand how web, how network, how operating systems work. Those are the fundamentals everybody is going to ask. Next thing, let's talk about bug bounties. And I have a lot of questions. Should I participate in hackathons? Should I participate in bug bounties? And my answer is, look, those don't hurt, but you have to understand one thing. Besides participating in those, besides understanding how to work with specific tools, and besides having fun, and I hope you have fun with your hackathons and bug bounties, you also need to understand penetration testing methodology. Penetration testing is different from bug bounty or red teaming. The reason is penetration testing is really an exhaustive testing. Think about it as a safety net. You've done your vulnerability scanning, you may have done the application code scanning, a lot of those stuff are done, and now it's the ultimate test to make sure that there are no more weaknesses, no more vulnerabilities. This is penetration testing. That's why it's exhaustive. That's why it has to follow a methodology. And methodologies are like OSSTM, which is more for the network penetration test and system penetration test stuff. And then when you get into the application stuff, this is where OWASP ASVS, Application Security Validation Standard, is going to come in handy. So make sure you are familiar with the standards. Make sure you go through the standards. You understand what are the basic testing units that are required based on those standards, and you can talk about each of those testing units. This is going to be important. You may not have the practical experience, but having theoretical experience with those frameworks and understanding that you will need to follow one of the frameworks is going to be extremely important for you. Certifications. Yes, certifications are important. Some certifications are better than others. Now, the main thing to think about is certification is more of a guarantee that your employer can have or a client can have. This doesn't define your knowledge level, but it's nice to have because this is something that makes you presentable. So if you have enough understanding, if you have enough knowledge, if you're sure of your knowledge, certifications might be secondary. Otherwise, yes, I would encourage you to do the certifications just even to get a bit of more self-confidence. Last thing, how do I network? So there is a bit of a problem. When it comes to hackers, penetration testers, lots of them are introverts. So online forums where everybody is anonymous, yes, but it's probably not where you want to be. One of the things that comes to my mind is OWASP meetups. There are local OWASP meetups. By all means, those are great places to be. Conferences, great, but there are too many people. You want to be in smaller events. You want to be where the hiring managers for penetration testing will be. Hackathons, great place, because this is where those employers will be. There are quite a few hackathons in Canada. Some of them are independent, some of them based on specific colleges. I imply that you research and you do participate in those hackathons. That's it, but I'm sure everybody has more questions, so send me more questions via LinkedIn or leave me a comment on YouTube, and I'm going to answer more questions later. Thank you very much, and good luck.